He took the espresso machine and confessed everything. Is my brother the a-hole for trying to outsmart his wife, but it backfired? My brother and his wife had what looked like a solid marriage before they had kids, but after becoming parents, everything slowly started falling apart. His wife stayed home with the kids, took online college classes, ran a small side business, handled the house, and did almost everything for their family. Meanwhile, my brother acted like watching his own kids for 30 minutes deserved a trophy. His wife had been planning a staycation for months so she could attend a convention with friends and finally get a much-needed break. She reminded my brother over and over to request time off work, and every time he told her he had already taken care of it. Then, right before she was supposed to leave, he texted her saying there had been an emergency at work. He suddenly couldn't watch the kids. He claimed he had to fly out on a business trip instead. She called me crying so hard she could barely talk. I told her to finish packing, pick up the kids, and go enjoy the trip she'd been planning for months. I'd watch the kids until my brother got home. When he finally walked through the door around 10 that night, I told him exactly what I thought of him before leaving. The next day, he started blowing up both of our phones. His wife finally told him he had two choices: marriage counseling or divorce. He was only allowed to contact her if it was an emergency involving the kids. Then my brother came to my house, not to apologize, not to explain. He asked me, what am I supposed to do with the kids? I asked him if he had ever even requested the time off from work. He refused to answer. Then he admitted he needed babysitter information because he didn't even have their contact details. His own wife had already prepared meals, organized clothes, and left a detailed schedule for the entire week. Everything had been done for him. And somehow he still couldn't figure it out. Even our parents refused to rescue him. His in-laws wouldn't answer his calls either. He ended up canceling his so-called business trip and had to take care of his own children. One commenter asked if the kids would be okay. I explained they absolutely would. My brother was fully capable of caring for them. He just didn't want to. Another commenter said it sounded like he wasn't trying to sabotage the trip. It sounded like he had other plans. Sadly, I believe that was possible too. Others told my brother's wife to speak with a divorce lawyer immediately. I honestly thought this stunt would end up being the final straw. Make sure you follow for more videos posted daily. Update: 4 days later. The first piece of good news: she decided to file for divorce. But when she came home from her trip, my brother had one last surprise waiting. He was standing there with a suitcase. He announced that now it was his turn to take a vacation. Then he walked out. No discussion. No argument. He thought disappearing would punish her. Instead, it made her life easier. While he was gone, she gathered copies of financial documents and started preparing for the divorce. The house was a disaster. She moved every single one of his belongings out of the master bedroom and dumped them into his office. There wasn't even enough room to put an air mattress on the floor. The kids actually enjoyed spending time with their dad, and she encouraged them to keep talking with him. But then she discovered something. The same Tuesday he claimed work had kept him late, he had been tagged in a photo at a bar playing pool. So much for that business emergency. Update: 11 days later. She met with a different attorney who specialized in difficult divorces involving controlling spouses. The lawyer told her not to reveal anything until the paperwork was ready. Once everything was filed, he would be served almost immediately. Meanwhile, she completely changed. The woman who once cried over this marriage was gone. She sounded confident, focused, done. She stopped cooking for him, stopped doing his laundry, stopped planning his life, stopped doing absolutely anything for him. He actually asked what the point of her staying home was if she wasn't taking care of him anymore. She laughed in his face. Then she quietly started preparing him for life after divorce without ever saying the word. She told him he would be responsible for the kids every other weekend. Suddenly, for the first time ever, he started taking the kids to school every morning. He thought he could fix everything. He had no idea divorce papers were already being prepared. Later, I shared another update. He was furious because she wasn't doing anything for him anymore. He even forgot to plan anything for Mother's Day because he had always relied on his wife to organize everything. Then he texted me asking what we were doing for our mom. I told him we weren't doing anything together. He was on his own. Update: 2 months later, the divorce papers were finally served. Oddly enough, he acted like he had expected them. He even claimed he had been planning to divorce her himself. Then everything came crashing down. She confronted him about years of lies, about fake business trips, about cheating. And this time, he admitted everything. He confessed he had been cheating on and off for 4 years, almost since their youngest child was born. He also admitted that many of those business trips had never existed. She only asked him 2 questions. When did it start? And how many fake trips were there? After getting her answers, she had nothing else to say. That seemed to upset him more than anything. He eventually moved out on his own. But before leaving, he decided to be petty. Out of everything in the house, he took the espresso machine and the blender. He dramatically left his wedding ring and house keys on the counter, saying he would never step foot in that house again. She picked up the ring and threw it straight into the trash while he watched. Then Father's Day arrived. He was supposed to return the kids Sunday evening. Instead, he decided on his own to keep them longer. So she smiled, told him to keep them until Friday, and went camping. He suddenly had several extra days alone with the kids and had to scramble to make it all work. Now he's angry with me. He says I'm a traitor. He's upset our parents won't take his side, but somehow he still has no problem calling them whenever he needs a last-minute babysitter. His wife has filed for joint custody because she truly wants both parents involved in raising the children. For now, both sides are letting the lawyers handle everything. So tell me, is he the a-hole